Three girls watching TV shows, and some of it's good and some of it blows. And when we finish the movies, yeah, we need a scotch, and we turn to each other and say, what did we just watch?
All right.
Hello!
It's been a
Hello.
while.
Yeah, we've been trying though.
Yeah, we actually are kind of busy now because it's no longer COVID. We have social
That
lives.
is what we
Why
started
did
this,
this get
yep.
130K views?
Oh, COVID.
But we're back. We're here.
Um, do you want to give any updates since it's been a couple months? Any exciting
Sure.
things
Yeah,
happening?
sure.
I'm still living in the same apartment and I added more decorations.
Yeah, she
That's a new
finally hung
thing.
up some
Woo!
wall
I'm
art.
I'm
I
hanging
love
out
it.
wall
It looks
art.
just like him.
It does look just like him.
Um, yeah, other than that, things have been pretty nice. Life has been
Us
pretty good.
gone for 2 months. We've hung up a
It's been
painting. That's
pretty
the
good. Developments in my life include I'm getting deeply into making sourdough.
Hmm.
It's just like it's COVID all over again. And I'm also getting deeply into Lost. I'm on season 2, so
yeah.
if anyone wants to talk about Lost with me, reach
Hit
out.
Emily
It
up.
really
Hit
is
Emily up.
recession time because I'm also getting into Criminal Minds. So like another
So
early
depressing.
2000.
Recession is upon us.
Recession
Um,
indicators.
recession indicator. I don't really have any updates. I also got into sourdough though. I am too busy, so I don't have enough time to bake as often as Emily. But Emily and I want to merge our sourdough starters to make a shared loaf. So maybe that will be in the cards
Bradley
for us.
Darla
Breadly
collab.
Darla collab. Um, God, I'm trying to think of I've just been listening to like Lil Wayne nonstop. So that's kind of just been my truth this summer. Um, but then recently I've been adding in like Dreamgirls. So it was Phantom for a
Oh,
bit.
You
good
got into
combo.
running. You're like running more.
I'm running more. So it's a week until my race. I'm scared, but I'm excited. It should be fun. Yeah. Should we talk about what we watched?
Yeah.
Because we're kind of pivoting the content a little.
Yeah, I think we're like expanding the different genres that we watch. We usually watch like comedy or romance, and we watched a horror movie today.
Watch a horror movie. We've been kind of in our horror movie bag this year, I feel like, just like outside of the podcast as well. We've been watching a lot of horror movies, I feel
Oh,
like.
true.
Yeah, and then me and Emma got Regal Unlimited. And this is not a
Yes.
Regal Unlimited ad, but if Regal wants to sponsor us, please just slide into our
Please.
DMs right now.
Because the amount of times I'm
You
at
do
the
spend so
Regal.
much time there.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. We went and saw Freakier Friday yesterday at the good old
Oh,
Gallery
how
Place
was it?
Rieger. I really liked it. I thought they did a good job of like, they did callbacks, but it wasn't like reliant on the callbacks. Like it was still funny on its own. I liked it a lot. I cried a
I'm
lot,
excited to see
quite
it.
honestly, but I just thought they did a really good job. And I love Manny Jacinto. He's so fine. So
Yeah.
it was a good time. Everyone did a good job.
We're
Nice.
not
I'm
we're not
excited to see
talking
it. Maybe
about
I'll go
Freakier
too soon.
Friday for
We're
this
not,
pod.
sorry.
No.
That's not the horror movie.
But we were just at the Regal, and I feel like I've gone through a lot at that Regal recently. Because I had this woman like yelling at me during the
Oh,
Superman
yeah.
when I went to go see Superman. So, and then at Freakier Friday, someone was just smoking weed the whole movie, and they were right in front of me and Caitlin, and just like tufts of smoke were coming up like a chimney the whole
Yeah, it was
time.
it was a lot
It was
actually.
really kind of
Crazy.
crazy. Anyway, so if Regal wants to send me and Kiana any months free,
Yeah, I just referred my lo younger brother to it, so like I'm active in the mission of spreading
There should be a
Regal.
deal.
you're a Regal Unlimited missionary.
But we went back to the early 2000s, similar to Freaky Friday, for this
Wait,
movie.
Freaky Friday was 2010s, no?
No, it's 2003.
No.
Whoa, okay.
Me and my friends watched it, the original one, not the 1970 ones, but the Lindsay Lohan one after we saw
Wait,
Freakier Friday.
The true
that's
classic.
crazy that they're in the same time. Sorry. Anyways, we went back to the early
All the good movies
2000s.
actually came out between 2000 and 2005, so
Seriously, what's the
I
Um,
tea?
believe it.
and we watched Final Destination, not the Final Destination, because the Final Destination is the fifth one. This is just Final Destination
That's
2000.
crazy.
It was
The
direct.
first one, guys, the first one.
It
Number
was
one.
So I guess everyone has like different, like I feel like Final Destination's so like so of the culture, so that even if you haven't like seen the movies, you kind of, or at least I like always knew what the vibes were. Like I knew it was like the chain reactions to different things, like very intricate deaths. I knew it was like cheating death. So I had known that for a while, but I'd never seen any of them. But I think that the only scene that I had seen was like, and then Kiana was talking about this while we watched the movie, the logs falling off the truck. Like I had seen that for some reason, either on like YouTube or like, I don't know. As a kid, I had definitely, like in middle school, I had definitely seen it somehow. And I think a lot of people feel this way. Like the reason that they're scared to drive behind semi trucks and like wood or like other loose items on the back is because of that. But I haven't seen anything else. And me and Kiana wanted to go see Bloodlines, but I don't think it worked out. Though that's on Max now, so maybe
mm.
we'll watch it soon. But what about you guys?
Mhm. Similar in the sense, like I hadn't seen any of them, I don't think, until recently, but like knew the vibes and that there were a bunch of them and etc. I recently watched, I think, the fourth one, which might be the Final Destination. It's the one with the racetrack. I don't know if anybody's
That's
seen that
the
one.
fourth one and one
Um,
of the worst ones, actually.
yeah,
Oh,
it wasn't great, but it did follow exactly the same formula, which
yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about. But so that was kind of my introduction, was that was the first one I saw all the way through. And then I've seen, yeah, like clips of other ones. So and today we watched the first one. So this is my first time going back and watching the OG today. So yeah, exciting stuff.
I've seen all the Final Destinations except for Bloodlines, and that is because right after I graduated from graduate school, I was like watching a lot of like horror movies. That's when I was first getting back into like watching movies and horror movies, and they were HBO had the Last Chance, which they still do, but it was like a much bigger catalog. And they had all the Final Destination movies on Last Chance. So I just binged all the Final Destination movies,
Yeah.
and that is how I've seen
And they're
all of
still
them.
there. They're still
Yeah.
there.
Well, they like Last Chance left, and now I think because of Bloodlines came back.
Oh, they
So
came
they've
back.
been
Okay.
on and off for a bit. Um, but to get into the recap, hopefully it won't be too long. It's not a long movie. It's only like
So I was shorter than I thought it was gonna be.
yeah, I think it's only 98 minutes. I think it was an hour and 38
Yeah.
minutes. But it's directed by James Wong, and James Wong also directed the third Final Destination movies and the very terrible live action Dragon Ball Z Evolution movies. So his he
Fun
doesn't have a
fact.
lot of he doesn't have a lot of movies under his belt. So maybe Final Destination is like his his
Like
main
his
thing.
debut?
Yeah. I don't think
Hmm.
it's his debut, but I think it's like his main thing.
That was his main project.
Yeah. Um, it's starring Devon Siwa, Ali Larter, Keir Smith, and the magnificent Tony Todd from Candyman fame. It starts off with a very long opening scene, where I think some of the deaths are kind of predicted in the opening sequence, if you're looking closely, because like, and the opening sequence is the main character's room, which is Alex. And Alex he's a kind of a weird guy. It's obvious that he's very superstitious because he has like voodoo, like kind of like voodoo doll-esque heads and like kind of like different little miniatures. And his mom, he had his like an old plane tag on his suitcase. And his mom was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take that off." And he was like, "No, no, that's because that plane like landed safely. I'm gonna keep it on until the last second." And the mom was like, "No." And then it made a really obvious, like sharp like noise where it was like, oh, something bad is gonna happen. But Alex is taking a senior trip with his friends to Paris, and there's a lot of like very weird foreshadowing. Like he's very like suspicious of everything that's going on. Like he gives his ticket to the agent, and the agent's like, your departure time is the same as your birthday, 9:25. And he's like, "Oh, what?" And she's like, "Your birthday, 9:25." And he's like, "Okay." And like weird things are happening, but like he's the only one that's really seeing it. And that's when you get introduced to like the main other six survivors, where like everyone who's talking is obviously like a character that's important to the to the plot. So all the other people, you're like, they're obviously gonna die, if you know how Final Destination works. Um, so he's very suspicious of the plane. He's almost having basically a panic attack, like an anxiety attack on the plane. And um he also noticed that the plane is like really run down. Like it seemed like a plane that should not have gone up in the air, but it's run down. There's a thunderstorm with lightning actually hitting like the ground around. So it's like the worst weather to kind of fly a plane, but they were like, let's go. Let's put 300 people on this plane and just hope to God that we don't fall out of the sky. So they get on the plane. Alex's friend, his name is Todd, is trying to hook up with some girls, but he's like very weird about it. He wants one of the girls wants to change seats with him, but Todd is like, "Oh no, I have a UTI. I need to stay in this seat," thinking that that would be attractive enough for them to like stay in the seat with him. But they were like, "No, we're just gonna ask Alex." So they asked Alex. Alex moves seats, and he's sitting next to Todd, and they're having bro time, and all the plane takes off. There's horrible, horrible turbulence, but everyone, like the flight attendants are like, "It's gonna be fine. Like, relax, guys." But it gets way worse. Like oxygen mask comes out, half the plane falls out. It has a really cool scene where like the plane is falling apart and people are like and flying out and everything. And then it catches on fire and explodes, and you're like, and then Alex like comes back because it turns out it was a dream, and he's like, "Oh my God, guys, this plane is going to explode." And obviously people are like, this is pre 9/11 though, so there's like not a national like agent or like a federal agent on the plane to be like, take that man into custody. They were just like, no, we're gonna shuffle him off. And whilst they're shuffling him off, for some reason another guy, his name is Carter, gets gets so irate that Alex is just making a scene that he wants to physically fight him. Obviously, you can't fight on a plane, so he also gets kicked off with his girlfriend and Todd, who's Alex's friend, and his brother George is like, "Oh, Todd, you need to check on Alex." So Todd gets off the plane, and then Clear, the weird girl, gets off the plane too. So everyone's like fighting, and the teachers are like, "Hey guys, break it up." And the pilot's like, "Only one of the teachers can get back on the plane." So the Mrs. Luton is like, "Oh, the other guy can get back in the plane. He's really into French right now." So they get it back on the plane, and they're like, "Yeah, Alex, this is your fault. We hate you." And Alex like, "But I just saw a vision. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to freak out." Carter's like berating him, and they get into another fight while Billy, another kid who was using the bathroom but missed the flight, sees the plane explode in real time, and the glasses shatter, and everyone's like, "We survived." So now everyone at the FBI is like, is Alex a terrorist? We don't know. He's being really suspicious. Throughout this entire movie, he's so suspicious that I thought he was a terrorist, even though I know he
So
was trying to
suspicious.
cheat.
Alex is like, sorry, just a
No, go
really
on.
quick. Alex is like me when we play like any of the like mafia adjacent games where you're trying so hard to prove your innocence that people think that you're suspicious. That always happens to
Why would
me.
you do that?
It
Yeah,
was Rashad playing Secret Hitler
it's
the last
literally,
game.
Yeah.
yeah. But that's how I felt watching Alex because I was like, you're being crazy, but I also know why you're being so suspicious. Anyways, he was being really weird.
Um, so the FBI questioned him, but they don't have anything to hold Alex there or anyone else. Everyone else is like, yeah, we just followed Alex. That's basically why. And so they have a random time skip of 39 days where um 39 days happen and they have a memorial, which is like at the school because they say that 40 students, 39 students have passed away. So maybe that's why there's 39. 39 people have passed away from the flight of 287. There's no survivors. Everyone kept being like, "Are there any survivors?" No. The plane exploded. It exploded to tiny smithereens. There is no survivors. Um, and Alex is being kind of like a pariah because some people are really afraid of him. Some people are like, "Hey, can you guess my fortune? Am I gonna be the next millionaire? Am I gonna get with this girl?" And the other people like are so angry at him because they're like, "It's this is your fault, basically." Um, and while they're like at the memorial, Carter and Alex have another fight because anytime Carter's on the scene, there's gonna be an altercation. And he's like, "I'm never gonna die. I'm gonna live forever." And you just know that character is gonna die once you say that. And then Alex talks to Todd. Todd is like, "Yeah, my dad's really still upset about George dying. He doesn't want you around. He thinks it's your fault, blah, blah, blah. But like, hopefully when this blows over, I don't remember the exact terms, but basically it was like when this blows over, when he figures his stuff out, I'll come back and we'll go on a road trip. And he's like, okay. Fast forward to late at night, kind of how when death appears in a scene, it's like an ominous wind blowing. So an ominous wind blows, and then odd things just keep happening around the house. Like there's a leaky faucet that starts to drip, and like you think Todd is gonna like fall and bump his head, but like something else happens. He scratches himself on the chin with a razor. His bare chin. No, no sort of like just like razor burn waiting to happen. It was actually really crazy. Um, but while these are happening side by side, Alex is like discovering and understanding death a little bit. Like the man again is acting super suspicious. He has like notes upon notes about random mysterious plane deaths and like crashes. So you're like, this man might be crazy. But he gets a he throws his magazine at the window because an owl approaches. It shreds up, and one word falls down in front of him, and it's Todd. So he's like, "Oh no, Todd is in trouble." So he races over to Todd's house, but it's too late. Todd somehow trips on some water, wraps like his bathroom has a he's hanging up clothes. So the bathroom like cord wraps around his neck, tightens, and he's trying to reach for scissors, but it like tightens too much and he dies. But he can't get up because the bathtub is slippery and his feet are wet. And the water recedes, so it's like, oh, Todd just commits suicide. His dad is like, Todd was so sad about his brother, he killed himself to Alex. And Alex is like, I don't think that's what's happening, but like maybe because he told me that we were gonna hang out later, so I don't really think he was suicidal. But the dad is like, Todd is dead because of you. Clear, for some reason, is like hiding behind a tree, and she's like, "Hey, you shouldn't be here." And he's like, "Why are you here?" And she's like, "Bye bye," and she like disappears. And um, later, Alex and Clear come together. She hangs out in her little like hardworking like hardware garage where she's like building cool statues and sculptures, and he's like, "I think death is trying to kill us." But that scene was really weird because they're like flirting, but it doesn't sound like they're flirting, but they're like supposed to be romantically involved, basically. And she basically tells him that she felt the same feelings he had, but she didn't have a vision. So that's why she decided to follow him off the plane with the first plane crash. So they're like, we gotta see Todd's body. So they go to the funeral home where he's at, and they meet Tony Todd. And Tony Todd is the mortician. And he's like, hey, and he's basically like death, kind of, but like that changes throughout every single movie. Death is very abstract in these films, but he's basically like, with death, there are no accidents, and if there is an accident, death will be coming to collect. And they shouldn't fuck with the Grim Reaper Mac Daddy. That's like a literal line. We're like, okay, and of course the kids are like, weirdo, and they leave. So
He
Alex,
also is like wielded like he like stabs the dead bot like
yeah,
he has a very ominous vibe for sure. And he also appeared like they shouldn't have been sneaking in, but he kind of like appears out of nowhere and then
yeah.
it's giving them a frightening monologue. Like it's all very suspicious and creepy.
Yeah, it's very much signifying that he like either is besties with death or like knows how it works. He's supposed to be the basically the like all the information dump of how this kind of universe works. So Alex believes that they have to try to cheat Death again. But while he's having this conversation with Clear, Clear is like, "Hey, buddy, you're crazy. This is not gonna work out." But Carter, again, Carter sees him and he's like, "I'm gonna have to confront Alex again because I can't let this man live his life peacefully." So he comes over, almost runs over Billy, which was another survivor. They all gather and next to this like cafe where Clear and Alex are talking. And while they're talking, Terry, who is Carter's girlfriend, another survivor, walks into the middle of the street and gets hit by a bus while she's like being like, "Guys, I don't want to deal with this anymore." And then from there, everyone's like, "Oh, maybe we are marked for death." And there's also subtle like foreshadowing signs throughout the movie that like things are about to happen. Like Alex sees a bus in the mirror, and that's when like the bus appears to kill Terry. And so from the news report, like later in that night, he's watching a news report about the accident, and Alex discovers that him and his friends were in the direct path of the explosion. And so, like, the death is taking everyone out in that line, whoever dies first. So, Todd, and then Terry, and then it was the teacher. So he's racing to the teacher's house, but while the teacher is over there, she sees him and she hates Alex. She's like, Alex is a freak, which he is, but she doesn't want him anywhere near her. So she calls the police. So Alex gets picked up by the FBI agents who are really suspicious of him. Again, very valid at this point to be suspicious of Alex. And they like take him away. And while the teacher is like packing, she's like very jittery. She's like, my world is falling apart. She actually had is the first time she's ever moved away from home. So she's like very much like sad about it. But she really feels she has horrible survivor's guilt. So she like really feels like she needs a new start. So throughout this that scene, she like is picking up a tea kettle and then like a black cloud goes over the tea kettle and you're like, is it the tea kettle that's gonna kill her? And then she puts stuff on the knife. She puts like a cloth on the knife and you're like, is it the knife? And then there's like a sword, a stained glass sword behind her. So you're like, is she gonna die from the knife? But what happens is that she gets so scared, she throws the hot tea out of her mug which cracks it. She puts ice and vodka in the mug instead. She's drinking it. The cracks are leaking out in vodka all the way to the computer. The computer, she drips over the computer, and while she's standing and looking like fixing something, the computer explodes. The computer screen hits her right into the neck. She's like, ah, ah. Then somehow, the like because of the vodka trail, everything catches on fire because of the electricity. So the house is semi on fire. And while she's like stumbling around in the kitchen, she falls over. She reaches up to grab the cloth to like, put pressure on her neck. The cloth falls and all the knives fall and stabs her in the middle. She's still alive somehow because Alex runs in. He's like, "Oh my God, teacher, are you okay?" And she's like, and then he trips, and then the table falls on top of her, pushing the knife deeper into her, killing her for the like finally. And Alex is like, "Yikes!" And he pulls out the knife, but then you're like, "Oh no, his fingerprints are all over the knife. His footprints are all over in blood." And he runs out, and Billy, who is always on his bicycle in this movie, is for some reason in front of the teacher's house. See, Alex runs out, the house explodes, and he's like, obviously, like, "Oh God, Alex is a murderer, a serial killer at this point." So Billy tells the FBI agents that Alex was on the scene of the crime. His prints again are literally everywhere. So they're like, we gotta save him. But at this point, Clear has like turned it around and she's like, I'm on Alex's side now. There was no reason. I think he just stopped talking to her and she was like, I guess I should be on his side. So she tries to find, with the help of Billy and Carter, she tries to find Alex. They find him on a random beach and she's like, you know what? My dad died and then my mom left me, but like I have control of my life. Like her backstory didn't really make any sense of what was going on, but they were like, he was like, you know what, you're right. We can cheat death and we can take control of our own life. And so the boys are like, Billy and Carter are like, so who's the next one that's gonna die? And Alex is not saying it, so Carter's like, it's gonna be me. And you know what? Because I am a man, I can take control of my own life. So he's like racing around the streets dangerously. Everyone's like, he's like, no. And they're like, think they're gonna get hit by a semi, but they dodge the semi. And he stops right on the train tracks while a train is coming. Everyone's like, get out of the car, Carter. And Carter's like, no. And then he's like, you know what? I don't want to die like this. Cause like dying by train is horrible. So he's like, I'm stuck because Death is like, you know what? You fucked around, you found out. I'm gonna kill you this way if that's the way you want to die. But in the transition, Alex sees a vision of a broken um, seatbelt. So Alex tries and tries to help Carter, and somehow he manages to save Carter, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Def skipped over Carter." And then they're like, "Who's next?" And Billy's like, "You know what? I don't want to be around any of you guys. I don't want to die." And while Billy's ranting about how he doesn't want to die, he gets decapitated by a piece of Carter's old car that got hit by the train. And then they're like, "Oh, yikes." And so they're like, "Okay, so Def skipped over Carter. So now we know that if we sit intervene with someone's death, they'll leave you alone." So they're like, okay, who's after Billy? And Alex is like, I'm after Billy. So they go to Clear's dad's cabin, lock it down harder than Fort Knox, and was like, we can beat death. But while that's going on, Alex is like reading the newspaper and he's like, wait a minute. Hold on for a second. If I changed my seat, so that means that I am actually not next. Clear is next. And while that's happening, they're having the worst thunderstorm in the history because lightning is striking on the ground only in Clear's house, it seems like. And Clear's trying to save her dog, but her dog seems to be barking at death. I think that's what it was supposed to be. So the dog is barking at like a electric wire that's like on the fritz. And then like the trees hit the pool water comes out. Clear jumps on like the fence so she doesn't get electrocuted. She's like dodging death. Every electronic in her house explodes, catches on fire. She runs into her garage. She tries to get out of the garage, but the garage door is trying to kill her. She's like, "Oh God, this is horrible." And Alex runs. Well, also Alex is being chased by the FBI at the same exact time this is happening. And he almost dies, which I was unsure what they meant. Like Death was trying to kill them at the same time. I don't know, but he almost dies because a tree falls on top of him and he starts to like drown in a very like in water, but he managed to move and lift the tree off of him. So he's racing to Clear's house. He gets to Clear house and he's like, "Do not touch any of the car doors because you're grounded in the car. The tires are grounding you. But if you touch the doors, you're gonna like die from electric shock." Um, and he's like trying to save her. Everyone, the FBI is like, Alex, Alex. It's kind of like insane scene from how slow this movie has been going for the first hour. It's like an insane last 20 minutes. And so Alex decides that he's going to intervene. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice myself because death will skip you. And then if I'm dead, then like this whole charade is over. So he takes bare hands the power cord in the middle of the storm, gets blown up. Everyone's like, oh God, Alex, no, he's dead. And then 6 months later, time skip. Alex is fine. Carter's fine. Clear's fine. They're like, wow, guys, we finally made it to Paris. So sad about our friends that died along the way, but we made it to Paris. And while they were at Paris, Alex is like, something has been bothering me because, like, if I was after Clear, no one technically intervened with my death, which means death is still following me. And everyone's like, please stop talking about death. Like literally, we're having a glass of wine. We're 18 in Paris. Like literally, stop talking about death. And Alex is like, oh my God, guys, I'm next. I'm gonna die because weird things started to happen again. And he's like, oh God. Clear gets like a weird vision and she's like, Alex! And he almost gets hit by another bus because no one watches, like, looks in any direction. And the buses are always going 45 to 50 miles an hour for some reason. So he's like, oh God. And so while that happens, like a thing falls down and tries to hit Alex, but Carter pushes him out of the way and he's like, hey, bro, I just saved your life, like you saved mine. And then as that happens, this thing swings back and it's implied that it smushes Carter, and then the movie it ends. And that is Final Destination 2000, guys.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Excellent recap. Great
Yeah, that was
job.
good. That was good.
What are you guys' general thoughts? Seeing that I've seen it before, what are your general thoughts of like not seeing a Final Destination movie and then seeing the formula of it?
It
Yeah,
was
I guess
fun. You go,
no, you go
Emily.
ahead. I'm curious your thoughts because you had like never seen one, whereas like I've seen
Oh
another
yeah,
one.
I
So I
guess
was
I'm
like, oh yeah,
yeah,
okay. It's
I'm
really a formula.
fresh. I'm fresh. I thought it was fun. I think like I love when a horror movie, like a horror franchise has a formula. Like that's just fun to me because like when there's room for more sequels, like it's just fun to see where writers and directors take like what the general formula is because it can always get so campy and crazy. So I had fun seeing like the OG, seeing how it played out, and I'm very curious how the other movies in the franchise, like what they look like, given what you and Kiana have said about how it's pretty similar. So I had fun, and I honestly, something that Kiana mentioned when we were watching the movie was all the like the practical effects, and I really like I miss that era of just like filmmaking and movies, and I thought they did a really good job. So there's so many like effects, like sounds, movements, motions that are captured, like literally so many red herrings that is just kind of fun to watch because there's so many different thought patterns you could go down. You're like, is this going to get them? Is this going to get them? Like, it's just fun to kind of theorize as you're watching the movie because they do put so much in there for you as a viewer. So I thought that that experience was really fun. That being said, like, I it was like fun, it was like, it was corny still. Like, it was still corny. And I think that something that and then maybe that's just part of the franchise because, I love Scream, I love a corny franchise. So it's not that I have a problem with the corniness. Like, there are points in the movie where, like Clear's random backstory, not very, just there were just moments where it just didn't really feel like it was needed. Part of me is like, is the point of the movie that we're even really trying to get to know these people? Like it was just I was curious where they were trying to, how we were supposed to be clicking or empathizing with the characters. Because they really only put Clear's backstory in there. Like they didn't
They
even really
started to
do
get into a multiverse theory there for a
yeah,
second,
like
which
it
was
was just like it was just kind
interesting.
of random. So I felt like some things were done in a way where I was like, okay, I don't know necessarily like understand what the vision was here, but and then I think that my biggest thing was probably the time skips and how that kind of like really like cut off. Like I just feel like each time skip was like so abrupt and that like the story suffered a little bit where we didn't see like these moments like in the heat of it happening. Like we saw no post playing, which again, like I just don't know the vision because it's my first time seeing it, and maybe that's just like what the vibe is. But I think that that kind of like obscured a lot of like it really cut off a lot of questions, and then you were kind of supposed to be okay with wherever they time skip to. But I was like, but I still have so many questions about what just happened. Like each time skip just felt a little rushed and crazy, especially from like the last one where Alex is basically dead and we see nothing. We see no follow up with like what the FBI, I presume, is like letting him go. Like there's literally just nothing. They're all in Paris now. Everyone's okay with flying again. Like it's just we don't, which I get that some of that's like not things we need to include, but I felt like that did a disservice to the story in a way. But I had a lot of fun. Like it was a lot of fun to watch, and I'm definitely curious about what the other movies are like. So those are my general impressions.
I do want to say that like for the other movies, there's no time skip. Like
Huh?
the thing happens, and then they have to figure it out, like what to do about it then.
Because
Like,
this one was like so drastic. Not that it's not drastic when like a
That's
full
crazy.
event full of
yeah.
people dies, like because that's always the formula, but like a
Yeah.
plane crash is crazy. Like, I'm just the one
There's
other one I watched was like, oh, there was an event like at a
Yeah.
racetrack, like cars spun out of control and crashed, and like people died there, and then like some people left before that happened because obviously someone had a vision. Like that's the formula. Um, but that was like less suspicious, obviously, that they left versus
yeah.
like getting off a plane that then explodes. So yeah, I guess they just had to do the time skips to like
because of the
get
event
through
they
certain
chose,
parts that
maybe, I
wouldn't have
guess.
like really made sense. But yeah, it's interesting because I like having come from watching like a couple of others to like watching the first one. I was interested to see like I knew it was formulaic, but I was interested to see like what was like the first edition of that they did that like worked so well that they then decided to like make this formula happen
Yeah.
five, six more times. Which I did enjoy it. I think like if you are watching this movie and you like know what you're getting into and like you're looking for like kind of the corny formulaic horror movie like campy vibes, like it definitely fulfills that. Um, but yeah, it was cool. I was interesting just to see like what was like the first idea they had, and kind of what some of the differences are. It does seem like they went a little bit more towards the crazy maybe in the later ones, and I don't know for sure not having seen all of them, but like just like totally like out there like insane ways to
I
to
could
die
totally,
versus like
yeah.
more I don't know,
Yeah, because
Well,
like
straightforward, I guess.
this was more like frenetic. Like you're on edge the whole time
Yeah.
because it's so slow. Like, with the exception of the final act where really all shit hits the fan and things are moving really quickly. But for the
Hmm.
most part, everyone's like, you're really on edge as the viewer because you're like, anything could happen. But
mhm.
I feel like every horror movie franchise that's like campy like this always like overcorrects because they're just like, the people like the scares, but it's
People
not
like the
always
kills.
just the kills. Yeah, and it is like fun to watch
Yeah.
the kills, but I could totally see what you're saying. Like I can totally see it going in that direction where it's so
Yeah.
far past what the original was that
Yeah, like because I don't know if you care about like kind of the settings. Do you guys care about the settings of the next?
I mean I don't mind.
Okay, because like like the second one happens on the interstate because that's the log scene. The third one is at a carnival, so it's like a roller
Oh.
coaster. And then the fourth one, like Emily said, which I think is the worst one, so I can't believe Prashad made
That's
me
so
watch the first
interesting.
one.
Yeah, I don't know why he
Rashav's
picked that one.
maybe it's just
He'll
random.
have
Um,
to answer when he watches this.
is the like Kentucky Derby, and I can't remember what the fifth one was. Um, and then the sixth one that just came out, they were at like a tall like a Seattle Needle skyscraper. So like I feel like all of them were like di like different ranges of like huge events, huge disasters. But also like I feel like the first couple are like common things that everyday people can go like, oh, I can go to a random carnival and then like I like the carny is not like taking care of the rides or something. Like the carnival's not taking care of the rides. So like the ride does whatever the ride does, like blows up. Versus like I don't know, the Kentucky Derby one was just like absolutely insane. Or like the
Yeah,
race
that's
one
the
that was
difference. It's like
just like, and
the
it's
something got like
gory.
stuck in the car. Like it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
something totally like implausible almost. Whereas
Yeah.
like not that plane crashes are frequent, but like it's people kind of understand that. Whereas like they sort of move more towards like the just like crazy out there, like something you would never think of. And I don't know if
Yeah.
that's just more of like you make so many of these, you got to start being creative at a certain point of like what you're putting in.
Oh
I
wait,
was like I
go
was
on.
Yeah.
expecting no, I was expecting it to be more gory because I think just what I'd heard about Final Destination, like people just like how they talked about how these deaths played out. I guess just as it went further, it got gorier. But I guess I was just expecting the
Yeah.
first one to like really set that tone, and I was kind of surprised that it didn't. So,
So the fifth one is that they're on a bridge and the bridge collapse.
oh
That
wow,
is the
so
fifth
I
one.
should not watch that one, as that's my greatest
Oh
fear.
yeah, don't watch that
I'm
one.
sorry. I was like, the fifth one also something crazy happened. That was the one.
Yeah.
Um, and I
Dang.
also think they get gorier because of, like you said, people are more interested in how different ways death can kill you. So like think like blood is like yeah, like people get
Yeah.
impaled more and like face
Yeah.
like there isn't like a big emphasis on the bloodiness of death or like because like while they really
No.
did linger on like Todd's death scene, like it wasn't like so gory that you're like ill. It was just like very much like it wasn't tame, but like wasn't like over the top in a way.
Right. No, 100%. I could tell it was such a product. I looked it up while we were watching it because I know I mentioned to you guys that like it felt very Scream to me, like very
Hmm.
Wes Craven inspired. And
Yeah.
honestly, especially like as the franchise and Scream, like they really like go off the I love Scream so much, guys. But like it goes off the rails and becomes campy and like gory in a way that you're like, this is like again, what we've just been talking about, how it's maybe not the same tone as the
You have to
first
make
one.
so many, yeah.
But I looked it up, and then also like with Scream, and then I know this is not just Scream, but like just like horror movie franchise, like people getting killed off one by one. Like
Hmm.
I know that there's some repeating cast members, but like I feel like it seems like maybe there's like new like group of people each time. Like that's also very
Mhm.
formulaic, the deaths being creative. But I think I read somewhere that I don't know if it was the writers or the directors were like inspired by Nightmare on Elm Street, which actually makes a lot of sense. It makes more sense that it was connected to that to me than to Scream
Hmm.
because
It's
I just
both
feel
Wes
like
Craven though.
no. And I was like, wow, I'm like so validated that it had a Wes Craven vibe. But I think it makes a lot of sense with like just like horror movie franchises wanting to take advantage of like what they have and like kind of like I don't know, establishing yourself as a horror franchise, like with certain tropes and formulas. Like I think that's such a wanted thing. Like after Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street became big, like they're like, I want to like, you want to have that longevity of like a series,
Hmm.
a horror series. So
Yeah, and
I
people
could
like
totally see
those
that.
and they want to see more and
Right,
it makes
right.
sense that they
No, it
recreate.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
I think one of the big problems with to me for this franchise, like I think the first one's very like solid and I like the second one. Uh, but I think because like death is like different, sort of different in every movie. Like there's still like the abstract like wind blow and the mysterious music and things like that. But I think um like the more because I think they wanted more kills. So like more people die because like these people are like interacting with different people. So like if you're around them, death doesn't like care. Versus like in this
Yeah.
movie, like they target like specific people,
Yeah.
if that
That's
makes
And
more
do
like
sense.
intentional in
Yeah.
this
do they
one.
kind
Yeah.
of move away from like there's like a dark wind and because I don't remember seeing that in like the other bits that I've seen,
I can't
but
remember
maybe it depends
about
on the movie.
the dark wind motif that they use, but it's definitely like you know when like death appears, like when the scene
Yeah.
is about to start where like they're about to die. Um
Yeah, just based on like I don't know, the music or the
yeah.
vibe or like something. Yeah, definitely.
So as it goes further, is it like, because I felt like the vibe I was, and I have a question about like death, and we should talk about that too, because I think that would be interesting. But is the vibe like, because here it felt like to me, like from like the prophecy that the mortician was talking about and like how the deaths played out, it was seeming like this is all very like, people are dying, but it's very like controlled and thought through and like laid out as a path. And just intentional. And so I guess as it goes further, is it more just like death is ruthless and will get anyone that's in its path? Is that kind of what you're saying? Like
I
it's
think
just merciless?
I think that's it depends on like the writer or director because like the second one they still follow that formula that like death is killing you off like by like I think they all follow the formula that death is killing you off by like when
In the
you're
order that you were supposed to
supposed to
die,
die.
right?
So it's not
Yeah.
just like rando,
But
like
like
kill to kill in
yeah, but like I
okay.
do think that if you are with a person and I don't have a scene in mind right now, but I do think it feels like d if death does not care if there's like other people around
Yeah, okay.
because it's
Yeah.
like technically your fault that you're still alive.
Yeah, okay.
Because you should have died the first time. So you are like actually
Yeah.
like inadvertently killing these other people because you actually
Because
should be
you're
dead.
not dying. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
It gets complicated.
Interesting. And no, that's
I
interesting
think.
though.
But like yeah, they still follow like because that's how whoever is the main character can figure out like, oh, how do I beat death? They always figure out the pattern of like, oh, this person's next, and they have to like run over and be like,
And get
stop,
them.
don't, and then they like
Yeah.
die.
And then they're
So
dead.
And then they don't believe them.
yeah.
Yeah, this is a big lesson on gaslighting, man. Oh, one of the questions that came up to me, I was like, I hate like sometimes talking about film because you're like, society be like, but like Alex was being suspicious. Like he was being very suspicious.
He sure
But
was.
fresh after the plane crash, he was being really even more suspicious. But fresh off the plane crash, I'm like, what does it say about like what are they trying to say just about like society that the first reaction to like his warnings were just like you're a liar, you're not right, literal physical rage. Like
Hmm.
how does that like, society's response to fear and just like, it's just very interesting because everyone's first instinct was literally to gaslight this man. And then when he was proved like when the plane did explode, yes, it's suspicious that he was like, I had a feeling like it's definitely giving terrorism, but I just like interesting how,
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
how society's first response to like traumatic incidents and fear is like, you're lying, just like
Yeah.
disbelief. So, I don't know.
I think it's like interesting also because like they were so many there had so many different reactions to Alex that was explored kind of in the movie. Not explored a lot,
Yeah.
but like the dad, like Todd and George's dad being like, "Don't talk to that man," because saved your life technically, but did not save George's life. But the only
Yeah.
reason that like George was still on the plane is because he told Todd, like the only reason they were still on the Todd got off is because George told Todd to check on Alex, that sort
Yeah.
of thing. Or like Billy being like, "Am I gonna like fondle whatever's like boobies later?" And you're like, "What?" Like there's so many different reactions, and like the teacher also being like so deathly afraid of him. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say the teacher was an interesting one too.
the
Like where
teacher
she was
was
like, I
like,
actually don't understand this, but like stay away from me. Which I
yeah,
feel
Yeah,
like
like
is
not interacting
probably
with
valid.
it
I don't
makes you
know.
safer, or like her logic.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I
Um,
couldn't figure out like if I was in the position, like if I was like either a student or like a parent of a student that died in a plane, I wouldn't not know how to react either. Like I wouldn't
Totally.
know which side, like would I be upset at Alex or would I be like that boy's suspicious or just like happy that some people were able to like
Survive.
survive? Like I wouldn't know also how to feel in that.
No,
yeah.
totally. I just felt like you're right. And then like a variety of personalities are being shown, but I do think at the core there was like more suspicion than there was
Yeah.
trust. Mine is clear. So I feel like that's just interesting
And
that
Claire was
everyone,
like a freak. Like
yeah.
Yeah, but she's
like
the
a
only
But
one that
then,
was like, oh, maybe he has a point.
yeah, but then
Like
having,
before the fact.
having
Which
trust and led
like
her to
I don't
say
know. I can't say that like if some like seemingly crazy person was on my flight and yelling things, I'd be like, "You're right." Like I'd probably do the same thing and be
it's also
like,
their
That's
classmate. It's their
crazy."
classmate, though. It's not like
yeah.
a rando that they don't know. Like it's someone that you've known before. Maybe it's not like your
Yeah,
best
but I guess
friend,
you
but
like I guess would have to buy into like the superstitious belief that like this person had like a premonition, and then also I guess like
yeah, true.
let go of the idea that you're safe and like everything is going to be fine. I feel like that's like an assumption that people have,
But honestly,
which probably plays into it too.
that plane, it was looking terrible, guys. I don't know if
It
I
was,
was,
yeah, that might
It's
have
a
made
little
me
beaten
like
down.
take a
It's a little
second
beaten
thought and
down
say,
for
maybe you're
sure.
right.
but I don't know if the plane, like, was that the how the actual plane looked, or was like the how Alex saw? Because like
Oh, good.
what
That's
they
a
like,
good
what
question.
they don't really they don't explain in this movie, but like in later films, why Death decide like what happened, like why Alex got the premonition. Because I think in like
Mhm.
the second one, they might have explored that a little bit because like people
Oh,
are
did they?
like,
Interesting.
the second one is good, guys.
Okay,
Okay,
That's
I'm
the
not.
I'm
second
on
one is
it.
good.
No one's saying we're not
Um,
watching the second one.
but like kind of like talks about that a little bit of like if Death is so upset that like we beat it, why did you give me the premonition about it beforehand or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that is
Um,
interesting. I guess I
And
never thought about the fact that they would like
yeah,
ever explain it because I think I just like am suspending my disbelief and being like, this is how the movies this series is. Like, but that is interesting that they would like
yeah,
explore that
that's
because
very
it was kind of just
interesting.
random. And then also like the interesting thing in that I like the thing I thought was like missing a little bit in the beginning of this movie that maybe they just like added later on was like actually showing like what was happening in the like first big scene where like people die and people
yeah.
escape like uh, it just kind of happened, right? They didn't do any of the like lead in or the
Hmm.
clues or the I mean they did some clues but they like just with stuff falling apart in the plane but they didn't like do the whole like build up that I feel like they do in a lot of the other scenes. And
Mhm.
then you kind of just find out later from like that news broadcast, like, oh, the plane was old and like this
The
mechanical thing
news
happened, but they didn't
broadcast
really show it.
full of information. They're like, you know what? We're gonna
We should know
summarize the first
everything.
10 minutes of the movie. In case you like blacked out the first 10 minutes, this is literally what happened on the plane
Just a
crash.
recap. That brings two interesting points though. One, why was Alex either marked with the premonition? Like why was he chosen for the,
Hmm.
to receive that or like disseminate that information? And then second, or was he chosen at all? That's a good question. And then the second thing that Kiana, that's making me think about what you were talking about with like the plane and how like noticeably like janky it was looking. Is it just like the viewers have like are we seeing this through Alex's
Hmm.
perspective where he has the vision to see that it's so clear to
Right.
him that death is like upon them,
Yeah.
or and other people aren't seeing that, like is that the reason why other people are so unaware? Like it's just interesting. I think the storytelling is good in that
Yeah.
respect. Like I think they did a really good job with like the way they shot this and like how they made you feel just so on edge. But I think that's such a good point. Like we're re-seeing these things from Alex's point of view, which is why we were able to be on edge like he was.
Yeah.
Like are we in his shoes?
Because there was a point on in the plane where like things were moving and he was seeing it. He was the only one really reacting to like the like flight time changes randomly being like departed or like canceled and like that
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm like, is that because he's like freaking out or is it because like or is this actually happening in real time and he's just like noticing like
Or
weird things?
both.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Um
It's kind
and the
of un
creepy agent being like 9:25.
your birthday.
9:25. I'd actually be so creeped out if
I'd be
someone
so
ever
freaked out as someone
did that to me.
I
Like,
also
why
think
did you
it's
notice that, dude?
because then I was like, your birth. I
9:25.
guess you're looking at their license, but it's
Yeah,
still
I
like
got confused
so
for a
weird.
Yeah,
second,
but
but I
like
was
looking
like,
at like, oh, your birthday and then the time. Oh,
9:25. I
9:25.
could totally see myself saying that without thinking it's weird and then realizing how creepy it sounds later. Maybe she was doing the same thing.
That's funny.
I also think as a viewer, it's fun that, or, oh no, I lost my train of thought. We're from Alex's perspective. Oh, I think it's fun that as a viewer that you kind of have to work for like you have to work for it a little bit. I feel like sometimes horror is
Yeah.
like kill, 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 and it's just so obvious, but I think it was fun for us to have a role. I wonder if it's less like if there's less mystery as it goes on, like you guys were saying, it gets a little gorier and it
No, I don't think so because that's what I was saying about like the first scene I feel like was missing that. Like it
okay.
just the plane just blew up kind of. I mean, there
Right.
was some stuff, but like the so I think like the teacher's death is a good example. Like I like that you did a really comprehensive overview of that, Kiana, because I feel like that was
Yeah.
like
there's
the
so
like
much happening.
fullest death scene where like we were like
Yeah.
typing in our little teleparty window being like, is it gonna be the knives? Is it gonna be the tea kettle? Um like that sort of thing where they're giving you like a bunch of different clues and like things to notice, but like some are red herrings and some
Yeah.
are real and then it becomes this like weird combination of things that you wouldn't have thought of. Like that's more the way I feel like they lean later on.
Okay, which I
I
like that. I
feel
like
from
that
what
part
I've
of,
seen.
And
yeah, I like that part of
And
the
so I think they like
experience.
lean into that more than they maybe did in the
and
first one where it was like only some of the scenes were like that.
and I
Okay,
do want
cool.
to say that
So
like the opening scenes of the other ones, they like everyone like when they die the first time during the premonition, like they will show you like how every single person dies.
yeah.
Whoa.
Versus like this one where they like kind of show like the teacher like trying to grab like the student that got flown off and they like show Todd like burn up, like other people burn up, but like in the other movies they're like character A
Really
dies like
focused.
this. Character B dies like this. Character C dies like and it goes down like that.
You don't think
Um
it ruins your enjoyment of the movie though, now that you know how they're gonna die, or they like do enough to like pad it where you feel still surprised by
well
the
like
death?
they don't die the ways like they don't die the way that they die in the premonition.
Oh, okay, that's what I
But
thought
they
you were
like
saying. I
zoom
was
no
like,
no
so
no.
it just spoils the entire
No, no,
movie.
they like zoom in on like each specific death so you can be like, okay, I have to remember this
Like the order.
character.
Got
I
it,
have
got
to
it, got
remember
it, got it,
this
got it. Okay.
character, that sort of thing. But they don't die the exact same way, no.
I think it's important that you're like an active part of the experience. Like I think they do a good job making you work for, or those theory, or I guess some people don't have to, but I found
Hmm.
it fun to like sit and work
Yeah.
through the theories and think about it with you guys too. That was fun. Do we think that death is like how they're portraying it, and maybe it changes movie to movie, but in this movie, do we feel like it's like supernatural? Do we feel like it's just like nature? Do we feel like it's something else? Because the way they portray it is like low-key a little supernatural. They're like, death
Yeah.
is gonna
Yeah,
get all of
I
you and
I
has a
think
plan
so.
for you. Like that just feels very
Yeah.
supernatural to me.
I,
Right.
I
But
I I see death as supernatural, but I also see death of being like a cleanup job. Like death missed these 7 people. So they're like, okay, I guess I gotta go back and like finish it. And like
Orderly in a
in
way.
orderly, like in like
yeah,
succinct ways. Like again, I feel like the other ones, like death is not like death is like tidy, but I don't think it's as tidy and neat as like this one as this movie. Um, but I also think it's just like this is just how the world works. Like we all die at some point, and you guys were supposed to die at this point, but you didn't. So now I have to come and kill you in another way because you refused to die. And that's why I think it's like a cleanup job more, like a supernatural
interesting.
cleanup
Yeah,
job.
I like that.
So you buy into the theory that death, like, you can't cheat death.
Yes.
Okay. In
But
the
like in this,
franchise or in real life?
oh, okay. I don't know if we're talking about real life.
Well, no, I was talking about
Okay.
both. I'm just curious about both.
But like the fr so I think one, I'm like you can't like you like obviously that we're all gonna die at one point or another. Like hopefully not in a fiery plane crash going to Paris or like being hit by bus. But like thinking about like this movie and saying like, oh, we're gonna like which it gets into it a little bit more in the second movie, but like once they cheat death once, it's like a vicious cycle. Like they're gonna have like Clear and Alex are gonna continually have to be like intervening in each other's death. That
Yeah.
is how it works because like death will still be coming for them. And
Right.
that's
It's not
how
Yeah.
just a
and
one round.
yeah, it's
We're
just like
done.
Totally. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what a cycle.
which is what they kind of showed at the end because like I guess because like when they go back to killing Carter, you're like, "Oh, it wasn't like a one and done. Like you were in a
Yeah.
cycle of like trying to cheat death."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. I wasn't thinking about it like that before, so I was kind of asking like I was just trying to follow the movie and I was asking
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same question that like the main character asks at the end, which is like, wait, how is he okay? Like nobody kind of intervened for him and then he asks that question and then so I wasn't even thinking about the fact that like, oh, then it would go around again.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I'm interested now to see the second one that you say is so good and what they
It's better. I
what
didn't
they
say it
do with
was
that.
but like yeah,
No, I'm intrigued.
the second one is the only one that brings up characters that are like
In the first
and
one.
yeah. The second one is the
Okay,
only one that doubles up on characters. Everyone
Interesting.
gotcha.
else is just like new cast for the
One and
rest.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until like Final Destination 7, like when Neve Campbell came back to Scream and everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, hey girl." Well,
Yeah,
she's always there, but I guess maybe not Neve Campbell. Maybe Skeet Ulrich is a better example.
but
Um,
I don't know what's going because like Bloodlines is supposed to say like, oh, every movie we weren't supposed to be alive because grandmama like survived this event. So I'm like, I don't know how those people are related to like the people in this movie. But like the rest of the movies, when they cheat death, they're like, oh, a
oh,
thumbs up. They said,
Oh.
yeah.
did you do a thumbs up? Is that one?
No, I was just like this.
Low key, I felt, oh.
Oh.
Wait, what were you saying, Kiana?
I was gonna say, I feel like I guess this is kind of a spoiler or not, but I feel like in other movies they're like, "Wow, guys, we did it. We survived." And then Death is like, "Did you?" And then they like that's how it ends. Like
This
it's
is
like
like, we're not done, guys.
like I don't know what you thought this was, but we're not done yet. So I think that's how every movie like you were talking about how abruptly this movie ends. I think every movie is like, "Oh," like that.
But
Well,
did you really?
because I guess it's like the cycle never ends. Like, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
you have to cut it off at some point. Like, we can't watch them continue to do this over and over. After it finished, I was like, okay, I realized that. But in the middle, I was like, they're literally not they are not resolving. I guess it's because that question you can't really answer. Like, can you cheat death? Like,
Hmm.
because it's just so
They
philosophical.
have
So
to make 5 more
you can't
movies.
really be definitive. You can't, yeah, exactly. You can't really definitively answer the question in one movie. But I wanted the answer because it's like that sense of control, I guess. Like, I really related to the character who was like, not that I would ever drive y'all around in the car with me, but in
Yeah.
the question like, can I cheat death? I'd be like, no. Like, I might as well go out on my own, like in the way that I want to go out.
But is
Like,
that just death being like, you think that you're going out the way you want, but like this was the plan all along. Like you're
and maybe
gonna
it
get,
was, yeah. But then it's like, at least I feel like I have
yeah.
control over it, even if I don't actually have control over it. That's why I'm like, I want Death by Hippo at 81. Then I have control over how I go.
That is like exactly like you.
Yeah.
I
That's
felt very
funny.
seen by that because no,
Yeah.
because that's like the same thing when with like any apocalypse like
Hmm.
zombie movie where everyone's like, I have to fight to survive, and I'm like, why am I? It's the cycle all over again. Like it's just different, a different cycle, but it's
Yeah.
still a cycle
No,
where it's
that's
like
a good
you're
point.
literally always toothing, like clawing tooth and nail for your life in whatever scenario. Zombie apocalypse, you're fighting to stay away from the zombies. Here, you're fighting not to cheat death. No matter what, you're in like fight or flight nonstop. Why do I want to do that? At this point,
Yeah.
just take me
No, I
away.
have always thought that with like zombie apocalypse movies are a good example.
Or
Like I
monkey
actually don't think
movies.
I would try that hard. Like I think I would just succumb eventually, like at a
That's why I'm
certain
like,
point. But I
death
also
can
don't know that I
come
would be
on.
like, let me take the wheel and like, let's do
Yeah.
Yeah,
this.
I mean, I
But
certainly would never drive it.
I
Like, I
guess
don't
it's
know
the
how I do
same
it, I guess.
outcome.
Yeah. But then I guess I don't even have control over that because it would depend, like, who, like, what order, if I was in the Final Destination, like, it
Yeah.
would be what order I'm in or what location like, I guess I don't even really have control.
If
So
you're in the Final Destination movies, what spot do you think you would be in a spot where you're like, yeah, I believe whoever's telling me that death is out to get us? Or would you be like one of the earlier ones that are like, ah, shut up, and then like get hit by like a bird,
I
like
think I'd
something
figure
like
it out pretty quickly. Like I don't like we were saying before, I don't know that I'd be like the one person that like is like, "Oh, yeah, you're right," and get off the plane. But like if I did get off the plane, I feel like after the first event, I'd be like something's going on here. Maybe I should like listen to
I feel like I'd be
this.
like a
Whereas
clear.
people go so long.
hmm
Like, Kiana, I actually think you're the most Alex of us.
The
Is that
suspicious
me
one.
the most suspicious or paranoid?
Well, no, I just
No,
meant
no, I get it. Yeah.
You'd
I
have the
think I think out
premonition.
of all of us, you'd be chosen for the premonitions. I
Oh
definitely,
God.
you know, you would too, is the thing.
And
Am I
I'd be like,
wrong?
no, I'd be like, hey guys, so not to freak you out, but I saw the plane blow up. I really think we should
I'd
go.
believe you. I'd clear for you if you had the premonition, I think.
Emily, I fear you're not a clear though.
No, that's what I just said. I don't think I would be in
Oh, okay.
general.
I thought you
But
said
like,
you
but
were.
I'm
I was
not,
like,
but like, no, but like separating, like there's the clear, and then there's like the people that take like 6 deaths to actually like realize,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you
maybe
wouldn't
there
be
is
that.
something
Yeah,
weird
you
going
wouldn't
on
be
here. I
that.
think I'd be like like after the first event, I'd realize there's something
Yeah,
going on.
I
you
did.
wouldn't be right away, but you would definitely realize very quickly. But
Yeah,
you have to talk through the logistics too. Like
I'd
I think
catch
you would have to
on.
you'd have to run it
I
through.
would have to talk through the logistics,
You
but
would.
like the logistics would be like, oh wow,
I'd
they
blindly
had a
follow.
premonition and then they were right, you know.
I
Yeah,
I'd be
do
like,
want to.
okay.
I
I'd
do want
clear
to.
it out. Actually, you know who's like the most Alex? Not in this trio. I think Caitlin would actually be the most Alex of all of us. And Caitlin, we would be
She would
gaslit.
have the
Yeah.
premonition.
Yeah,
Yep.
she would be like, guys, we're gonna die, and we'd be like, you're so funny, Caitlin. Like, yeah, let's
Oh
get back on the
no.
plane.
Yeah. And then we die.
But I do think I feel like in the other movies there's more of a like there's more like like I think they all follow like 6 or 7 people are dying, but I feel like the early 3 are very much staunch like you're crazy. Nothing's bad gonna happen. We're gonna live forever. Like way more intensely than
Yeah.
like
Rachel
And then they're
Maurice.
the first 3 to
yeah.
go.
And they're like, "Oh my God, where's Kevin?" And they like race and Kevin's like, "Guys, you don't need to worry about me." And like Kevin does something crazy and dies. And they're like, "Well,
I think I'm kind of grateful that there's like no one in my life who I think would be so like so brash about like not
death."
dying. Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like
What
I don't think I know anyone.
Rishi talks about he never can be killed.
I can't be killed.
So,
Okay, true. But I think in the actual situation, he would
yeah,
never
yeah, that is
react like
true.
that. He's all talk. But we don't know anyone who would be like, death will never find me. Fuck you. Like, we don't
Yeah,
know people like that in our
Yeah.
lives. At least
yeah,
I
no,
don't.
they're like the characters. Sometimes when the characters react, you're like, this is. I feel like this is not like a very normal human
Yeah,
react.
you're
Like,
actually like not reacting to the
yeah.
situation nearly enough. Let's look at what just
Um,
happened here a little bit.
and I do agree that like some of this movie really like looks like really is just like character development, character background. That's gonna be in the back. We don't care about that
No,
Do
at
they
no
do
all.
time.
it? Do they
It's
do
only
that?
90 minutes.
Do they develop in the other
Well,
movies?
in the other movies, some people are like friends, like way
Oh.
more, like closer. So there's like a little already like relationships established. Because like in the fourth movie,
Oh,
they're
okay.
like all friends hanging out at the like car
Yeah.
race. So you're like, oh, that
God, that
makes
could be us at an F1 race
maybe
if
that's
Josh
why
were to take
Rashad was
us.
like, let's watch
Oh
the car race one
God. Yeah,
together.
that might be why he picked it.
I'm
Um,
never going to a race with Rashab now. I know too much.
but like, so like in this movie, you're like, why does Carter hate Alex so much? Like, why did that man get up on the plane and was like, I have to physically punch
Yeah,
this
that was
man?
crazy.
Like, he could have just been like, oh, Alex, go ahead. He's crazy. Crazy old Alex going off the plane. But he was like, let me at him. Let me at him. And his girlfriend was like, hey, Carter, are you okay, bud? Like, he was such filled with rage that I was like, why do you feel like
Yeah,
this?
they never really
To
explained
the
that.
point where when the 6 months happened, I was like, why is Carter invited to this? I would not. Carter has hated you the entire time. Like, it doesn't make sense that Carter would be here too. Besides being like survivors and all that kind of stuff. Like,
They had to go on their trip to Paris
yeah.
all
Carter's like a
together.
prime example of like male rage towards things they don't understand.
Yeah.
Like he just was confused and scared, and instead of voicing that, he was like, "What if I beat him up instead? That'll solve it." Because it's again, it's
It kind of
control.
did
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
survived by being thrown
Yeah.
off the plane. So
Yes, exactly.
unfortunately, it
It
worked.
worked out okay for him. And it's also his control. He was like, if I don't understand what's going on, so if I beat up this man, then it'll solve the problem. That's like his
Right.
sense of control.
Yeah.
Just from
Yeah,
a
true.
toxic
He's
male
so
point of
toxic.
view. He's so toxic.
Okay. Before we like kind of wrap it up, I want to talk about Clear as a character because one, her name is Clear, which
Why is
is
True.
her name Clear? I totally
cool.
thought it was Claire and they were pronouncing it weird until I turned subtitles on.
No, it's gonna go ahead and be clear.
Yeah.
Clear, like the vibes of Clear was like insane. That even when they were like, I guess became romantically involved at the end, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why are they together?
Literally zero
That
sense.
was really thrown in there, yeah.
Wait, I have one more comment about Carter.
Okay.
His outburst reminds me of what's his face from Speak No Evil freaking out about the Cotton Eye
Oh,
Joe.
James McAvoy.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, it's the same energy to me.
Emily, have you seen Speak No Evil?
The like new one, right?
Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
I did see it. I don't know if I
Okay.
remember that
That
part.
was the scene where
How could you forget the
the
kid's
kid,
dancing to Cotton Eye Joe and he loses his mind?
Oh,
you don't do
That's
you
like a
only
big pivotal moment because then she like finds his secret den right after.
yeah, he finds a
oh,
secret
I
den with
remember
all the
that part.
families.
And
It is
well, he was
yeah.
performing Cotton Eye Joe and he was like, faster, faster, and starts to
Oh
like freak out
God.
and make him do it over and over. And the guests are like, it's really okay. And he just like flips
It's
out.
actually
And
Anyways,
fine. Yeah.
Mackenzie Davis with her weak-willed husband who's like,
That movie was
At least
crazy. That movie frustrated me so much.
I've
that
never
movie makes so pissed
Get
off,
out of
bro.
there.
Them and their dumbass Tesla in the middle of a fucking remote ass
Yeah, that was
village.
crazy.
Anyways,
the
sorry.
the original version of that, the ending is like way more sadder than like at least in the American version they like survive
Yeah.
and
I
fight.
honestly like I'm low-key like they didn't deserve like if you're gonna go
Yeah, they
back for
probably
the
didn't
bunny,
deserve
y'all
to.
deserve to die.
I think
Like that's
Mackenzie Davis and the daughters deserve to live, but that husband, I literally was like, why do they? I guess they had to make him like that to be like a juxtaposition of like James McAvoy character. But I was like, he's actually so infuriating. Let him die. Like I don't care if he dies. Actually, kill him for me. And he
it's because he
survives
was
them.
gay for James McAvoy. He wanted his approval so bad. He's like, I want a man to be my friend.
Yeah.
Anyways, Let's
We could
let's
talk.
talk
We just
about
talk about
Clear.
Speak No
Sorry,
Evil.
sorry.
This is
We're actually gonna
Final
pivot, yeah.
Final Destination slash Speak No Evil recap.
Let's do a recap.
Okay, what
Um,
were you gonna say about Clear?
I was gonna say that like her character was supposed to be like, oh, she's the weird, quirky girl. Like she's reading the French like book and she like is the only one who knows how to speak French. And like that was like how she was portrayed. And then she was like, I'm kind of superstitious too, Alex. But then later in that same scene, she was like, I actually don't believe what you're saying is true. So like her character was like
Oh yeah, that
kind
was
of just
weird.
All
all
over the
over the
place.
place as like a character. And then
Yeah.
and then later she was like, he's ignoring me, so I guess I have to say I believe him so he can talk to me again. And then I'm gonna tell him about my sad dad death and then for some reason my mom decided to leave me by myself after moving in with my stepfather. Is that what you said,
Girl,
basically?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then they started talking
I
about the
got no fucking clue,
multiverse. They
man.
were like,
I have no clue.
In some worlds, everyone's still flying up there."
Yeah,
Oh.
like in some world, my dad and my mom and me are still together as a happy family, and you're like, wait, what?
Clear was giving SpongeBob when he was like, I lost something once. Like they're all just sitting there, just yapping, or not even yapping. They're all like traumatized, and she's like, guys, here's my trauma dump. And they're like, oh,
That is an interesting point you made though about how like she was the only one to believe him at the beginning, which we talked about, but then like in the middle, she was like, I actually don't think there's anything weird
She's
going
like,
on
I actually
here.
think Todd
Like
committed suicide. I'm
you
like,
have more
what?
information now. You should be more certain that you were right all along. But I guess it was just to like move the story forward and have them like be separated for that reason. But
yeah, I guess they
it
needed
is
some kind of
interesting.
conflict for them to be separated. But you're right, it did
Yeah.
really shift kind of randomly.
Because
But
that always has to be a thing that they're like all in different places trying to figure
Yeah.
out who's gonna die next.
And
But
they have
like
to like run
of
to
really
the
you
other
should probably
course.
place
all stay together for safety.
Why are they be like this is like such a horror. Like, why are we splitting up?
because they
Don't
don't
split
like
up.
each other. They're not
Why are they
friends.
Well, Clear and Alex were kind of
Oh yeah.
friends.
They became lovers apparently. They were
Hmm.
like, "Baby,
So
don't die."
weird.
And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Baby?
When did that
Huh?
happen?
Oh God.
The
This
39
is like
days.
horror movie 101. Don't split up. Don't go in that door. Don't go outside at night.
When
Lock
you
your
see something
doors.
suspicious, you actually can just leave.
Yeah.
That's the speak no evil lesson.
That's so
Like,
true.
it's actually cool if you just leave the
I know we're
situation.
not
You
talking
don't
about
have to
Speak No
stay.
Evil, but remember when like they came in and like she's like reveals like the dirty sh ass sheets and he's like, "You know what? I think it's fine." And she's like, "There's blood on these sheets." And he's like, they're this is hospitality. We're all good over here." And I'm like, "Kill the husband
That's
now."
why I'm like, I would literally be like, okay, you can stay. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Get
I'm
in
going.
your car.
I'm
I'm
taking my
leaving.
daughter and I'm going. I'm leaving because the man keeps making sexual advances at me and it's making me uncomfortable, husband.
And
Yeah,
why
it
was
was
no
weird.
one okay? We gotta stop talking about this.
We watch Speak No Evil and do it for that.
We watched Speak No Evil
I actually
months
have my
ago
notes right
also.
here.
Yeah.
No, it was really weird that why were they doing romance with Clear and Alex? That was just kind of random. It just
Yeah.
didn't really need to be there, but like, okay.
I mean, like, you could say that about like Carter and Terry. Like, they were romantic, but you're like, I guess they just need a horny teenage couple. They're like, we
Yeah, of
got
course.
the
Like they
Yeah.
horny, we got the loner, we got the like really like weird, like the weirdo,
quirky. Yeah, we got a weirdo.
the quirky weirdo, and
We
we
got a
got like,
weirdo, we got a
We
freak, we got a
we got it
clown.
all.
yeah, the class clown. Like, it was.
Oh, uh-huh.
I didn't even talk about how like they had spent 5 minutes talking about pooping for like part of this movie too. That we're like, oh, okay, sure, Todd, whatever you say.
Yeah, why did Todd bring up that he had a UTI?
That was
That
Crazy.
like
He wanted
blew
the
my
aisle
mind.
seat, which like honestly I respect.
No, he wanted to
I
sit
feel like
next
he
to
could
the
have gone about it a
girls.
different way,
He wanted to
but
sit next to the girls, but they were like, he was like, oh, he wanted to sit next to that particular girl. So
right,
then he was
right.
like, oh, I have a
He didn't want
UTI.
them to switch.
Why wouldn't he be like, why was that the first thing that came to his mind? Oh, I have a UTI. That would gross most people out. You'd be like a little
Yeah.
concerned. It made so much sense that they were like, oh, we're just gonna ask
Okay,
Alex.
we're gonna go over here
Freak.
now. Yeah.
Like everyone's a little bit of a freak in this movie, actually.
Yeah, no, there's definitely freak energy in the movie. Freak, a clown, a weirdo. Wait, what is
The Breakfast Club.
what's Jughead's little monologue?
The weirder one.
Yeah.
I can't
Um,
remember how it
you
goes
know what I
exactly.
mean though.
Yeah,
You
the
know what
one
I
who
mean.
is like, I'm a weirdo and that's okay or whatever. But it's like something like that.
Last year on Big Brother, one of the contestants also had a monologue like that, except like it's just funny because they're actually having these conversations like earnesty, fully earnest in the house. And he's like, I'm a dancer, an actor, a singer, a theater nerd.
Oh God.
And it was giving the same energy. A freak, a clown, a quirky man.
Okay, I looked it up and he said, in case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in. I don't want to fit in. Have you seen me with the stupid hat on? That's weird.
Why did he comment on his own stupid
Pod with the
Because he's a
UTI for
weirdo.
real.
He's a
Pod with the
weirdo.
UTI. Also, like it just I don't know, yeah. You have to suspend disbelief, I guess. So you're like, I get why they're switching
Yeah,
seats
you
and
really
why
Yeah,
he
yeah,
said
do.
yeah.
it, but it's so weird.
But I had fun.
So
I do think it's a fun
it's
I
franchise.
fun.
enjoyed
It's
it. I've
fun.
watched two since
Now
the
the
best
next
one.
time that I'm around like a class clown and a freak and a weirdo, I'm gonna be like, am I gonna die?
That's just you around
Wait,
us.
I
Wait,
had a premonition.
we can never hang out ever
Next time we
again.
all hang out, Caitlin's gonna say, I had a premonition. And we will believe her because now we know. We've learned our
Oh
lesson
God.
from others.
Now I'm scared I'm gonna be Final Destination.
No, no, we have too much life to live. Def knows that. But like,
Does
okay,
it?
Death is not considering us.
before before we stop, I want to talk about one last scene. It was the scene where like George, Todd's brother, comes into the plane and they hear like the screaming baby, and he's like, yeah, this plane is not gonna go down. That would be really fucked up of God if like this plane goes down. That's really fucked up. And I'm like, what? Bad things happen to good people all the time, George. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Do they like ever touch on religion at all? Like, are there religious characters in Final Destination that are like praying to God and stuff?
I think in the second one they touch it.
Damn, this second one, I
This
So we gotta
no,
watch, we
I do
gotta
want to say the
see what
second
the
one.
Oh,
second one
Like,
wait.
explores.
I have a deal for you. A trade. I'll watch the f second Final Destination if you finally fucking watch Scream 4.
me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because
Wait, which one
Emily
is
watched
Scream 4? I feel like I watched Scream
you
4,
watched
right?
Scream
I
4, or I
haven't
don't know if
seen
you
Scream
finished
4
it, but
yet.
I tried to convince you watched Scream 4, Emily, because you were
I was
telling
on
me
the
about
Scream
it.
train for a while. I don't remember how many I
You
watched, but I feel
Scream
like I watched
4
at least 4.
Scream 4 has oh my God, what's her name? Hayden Panettiere?
I did watch that one, I
Yeah,
think.
that one.
Yeah.
No, wait, which Scream 4 is not that one.
Oh,
Wait, you
oh,
did watch the Hayden Panettiere one though.
I
Wait,
think
what am I
so.
Oh no, yes, she is in that. 'Cause isn't Emma Roberts in that one too?
Yeah, I watched that one.
Anyways, that's my trade for you
Okay.
Perfect.
because I love Scream 4. And also, I feel like it's like the sim like with what you're saying with things developing in a way that's very fun. I feel like you would enjoy. Wait, no, I'm not thinking of Scream 4.
No, I just looked it up. It's the one
Oh,
with
yeah, it
Emma
is Scream
Roberts.
4. Yeah, okay, sorry. Scream 4. There's just so many screams that it's hard to keep track
Seven.
sometimes.
It's gonna be
Just
eight.
like Final Destination.
I know, I can't
They're making
wait.
another one?
I
I
can't
didn't know
wait.
that.
Yeah, remember that they were having the whole thing with Jenna
With
Ortega and
Jenna Ortega and
Melissa.
Melissa Barrera,
Oh,
which
Yeah.
is a
right.
mess, but you know, it is what it is. One of my favorite One of my favorite screams is there's like they set a scream in the city, like they set it in Manhattan, I think. And it's just like literally Ghostface just like beep booping around the city, like riding the subway and just like it's really goofy. Like they really just went off the rails there.
I do want to say that they did also
Scream
make a
6.
Friday the 13th movie that's called Jason Takes on Manhattan, and it's the same vibe. It's the
Guys,
same vibe.
horror
There's so
movies are
many of
so
these.
fun. Movies are so much more fun when you're like, how campy is this?
I like went through like because there are 12 Friday the 13th movies and I've watched like 9 of them because a lot of them happened in the 80s like back to back like they were
Yeah.
pumping those babies out. And like the more campy it got, they were basically like Jason is an undead. He's a zombie. He can never be killed. I'm
I
so
love
sorry.
it's like, where
And
are
you're
you
like,
guys gonna
okay.
go? And you just kind of like accept it. You're like, all
Yeah.
right, whatever. I guess this is
Makes
I
how
watched
it
it
sense.
with
goes.
Donovan. And we were like, sure, why not? Why wouldn't he have magical powers at this point? Like, God,
It's like
he's been stabbed
Riverdale.
multiple times. Uh, I need to
It's
go
like
back.
Lost.
It is
You're gonna be
like,
so disappointed by the end
There's
of
a
wow.
polar
Lost.
bear here now.
You're gonna be
There's
so
a man
You're
in
gonna
a
sad
be
at
so
bunker.
the
sad about
Lost
the end of Lost,
ending.
so I
You're
can
really
No,
gonna
but
be
like
already
I
torn
imagine.
up,
know, like
bro.
I've heard what the ending is.
I
So
still think
like,
you're gonna feel it when you actually finish
Because
the
like
series,
I
though.
I
will
remember
I get there? I don't know. The first season was really long, guys. It was 25 episodes. I feel like I've been
in
watching Lost my whole life. So we'll see. I might
Wait,
have to like
you
skip
also
ahead.
didn't
But I'm
share
like,
your Lost journey with us. Like this was
no,
news to me
I
as
it
of
came up on
today.
Netflix and I needed to like kill an hour and I just
now
started
she's
You
it
killed
watched
and I
now she's
just
killed 25 hours,
25
guys.
I'm
hours.
ashamed to
A
say I
whole
have. It
day.
has it's been like a while that I've been watching it. I did not binge Lost season one,
Wow.
but I did finish it. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. Ever like because at first I was like, how are they gonna make 6 seasons of like these people on an island, like a deserted
Oh,
island?
don't
But the island's
don't
not deserted. There's just all these groups of people there
don't
that cause all
don't
sorts of
The
worry.
problems.
freaks, the class clown, the weirdos, the jocks.
The man in the bunker.
Don't worry.
I'm just finding out about the man in the bunker. I don't know what his deal is yet,
They make
so.
sure that you enjoy every second of those 6 seasons. I Lost is like the
Have you
equivalent
even
of
watched
like
Lost?
yeah, I watched it growing up with my
The
mom.
whole thing?
Oh, I didn't know
I
this
didn't
about.
watch the
Y'all
whole
are
thing.
just dropping this Lost lore on me right
I
now.
Not
know,
the
I
What the
whole
hell?
never
thing
saw it
because I
before.
feel like I was too
Y'all are acting
young.
like I knew this Lost about you. I'm so shook.
I think I was too young when it first was appearing, but like I would like watch some of it with my mom. So I like, but I especially
Oh.
feel like I watched the last couple of seasons with her way more than the earlier seasons. So when it was like really bad. And my mom also, similar to my brother, loves to sit down and just like exposition dump on things. So I like know about Lost because she's like, so
Okay.
this is what happened in these characters, and I have to be like, okay, which character is this again?
Is this Rachel
I
telling
have to
us
do
the
that too
Watchers?
because Rich will walk in like halfway through an episode and he's like, why is that person doing that?
Oh,
Let
my
me try
mom,
to
when I
explain.
was watching Riverdale in their house, that's what every time I would be in the middle of a Riverdale episode, and she's like, so what's happening? And I was like, well, Betty's dad is a serial killer. And they're in a cult now where they're harvesting orchids. And they also have superpowers, maybe. So can I start? Can I go
They're
back to
also
watching?
magic. Riverdale is crazy. The Riverdale writers threw everything at the wall and said something will stick. Okay, we're losing the plot. We're losing the plot. We need to rate it.
Okay, I want to rate it out of 10.
Okay.
Okay.
God. All right, I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 rusty fish hooks. Um, because I feel like I
Tetanus.
had a great time. Like prior to recently watching my first Final Destination, I was like, why would I watch this Final Destination series? I think it's great. I love the campy vibes. I don't know that I would watch every single one in a binge like I think you did, Kiana,
I
but I
sure
do
did.
think they're
I
fun.
did.
I see why they keep making them. I think it's a fun, campy thing. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Would watch the second one.
Wait, what did you rate it again? I forgot.
8 out of 10 rusty fish
8. Okay,
hooks.
sorry. I was trying to get the vibes. Okay.
Do you want to go next, Emma?
No, I need to think about it. Sorry.
I'm gonna rate it a 7 out of 10 plane explosions. Um, I think my ranking for the movies has this one in second and the second one first. So like I think this one is like one of the better ones. Because again, it gets, as we already discussed, it gets a little crazy the later it goes down. The fifth one is also kind of a good one, but I think the fifth one's only good because of the ending, which is a huge spoiler, so I'm not going to tell you. Um, so yeah, I enjoy Final Destination. I think it's fun. Um, it doesn't give me, even though I have like anxiety, it doesn't give me the anxiety that it gives other people. I don't know why, but like the fear of something gonna happen in my own home, it doesn't like really affect me in that way compared to like a supernatural movie. Don't know. Supernatural movies freak me out the most out of horror. So I'm gonna
Really?
yes. So I'm gonna get it a 7 out of 10.
That's so funny. At
Nice.
Movie Club, I was talking about how supernatural movies don't freak me out. So it's funny that you say that because I'm just like, this isn't real. Like, it's just easier for me to do that. And this feels more tangible, but I I mean, it's so valid though. They're both scary. I think I'll also give it like a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7 John Denver songs out of
We forgot
10.
to talk about John
Yeah,
Denver.
John Denver was
So
actually
much
really
John
good.
Denver. I actually loved that. It was so
That was a
random.
great part. Yeah, I enjoyed
John
it.
Denver died in a plane crash.
Wait, actually?
That's what he didn't, is that what he said when he was
Oh
talking
yeah.
about?
Oh,
Oh, I don't
maybe.
remember that.
I
Hold on,
don't
let me
remember
check.
it. Look it up. Do they do that in the other movies where there's like a song or anything that repeats?
I don't remember off the
Not that
top
I
of my head.
remember.
I
Oh,
mean, I'm sure they did.
I liked it. I liked it.
I think it would be more like movies about death versus like particular like the same um kind of
Yeah,
artist.
got it. Okay. I give it a 7 out of 10. I liked it and I had a lot of fun. I'm definitely like curious about like the other movies just to see how they fall. And I had a lot of fun, like I talked about earlier, just with the viewer experience of like trying to guess and like talking with you guys about our theories and stuff like that. But there was like, there's just like, I don't know, it didn't scratch the itch in the way that other franchises do, but I still had a lot of fun with it and I would watch more for sure. So,
He did die in a plane crash.
okay, so
Oh,
that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, should we watch all the Final Destinations for the pod?
this is actually going to be the first part of a series, and
Or
join us for the next 6 weeks.
should we do people, if you're listening, should we do a horror series and see it through? That could be
Yeah, let
fun.
us know.
Or any other series. That could be a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So,
We could do the first out of a lot of horror series. So we could watch like the first Friday the 13th, the first
Mm,
Halloween, that sort of thing, the first Scream.
my baby,
I'm
she just
so
wants an
love
education.
it. Love it.
But yeah,
Yeah, let us know.
we're coming back. We're gonna actually be a little bit more.
We're going to do it this time. For real, for real.
We really were trying. It's been pretty busy
And
for
guys,
Yeah,
we
it's
figured
been
out the
crazy.
password to our first account so we can get back in.
Woo! Not our anchor, but that's okay. Not our anchor, but that's no problem. Spotify for podcasters. Okay. That was fun. Let us know what we should watch next.
And
Yeah.
that, are we gonna do the and
Oh
out?
yeah, yeah. And
Um,
this was
Um,
what
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 did
did
we
did
we
we
just
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 watch?
watch?
discuss?
Ooh.